So, you want to bag your Porsche 944. Hello and welcome to a new video, guys, and today we are back with a new Porsche video, and today we have the lovely and iconic Porsche 944, the successor to the 924. Without the 924 and the 944, we wouldn't have a 911 today. So this paved the way for the, the 930, the 964, the 911s, non-911s, and the 993s, etc., etc., etc. And today we have it. Okay, ito yung mga lolo ng ating mga favorite cars, the classic 911. So Porsche 944, if you want to know more about that, that is not the video. Okay? We're going to discuss how to bag your 944. And there's two products in this video, the air suspension and the 3-piece wheels. If you want to know more about the 3-piece wheels build namin dito, please click the link down below or here in the screen. Doon namin ginawa yung 944 3-piece wheels, the ASEV Type A wheel, 16-inch to 17-inch conversion. But enough talk, no? We're going to talk about the air suspension for this car. As you can see, it's already bag slammed to the floor, and I could say this is one of our most difficult builds yet. If you own a Porsche 944, this is the video for you. But if you're just interested to watch, this is a very interesting build talaga. Okay? It took us a month to build this car properly. Okay? So, without further ado, let's discuss. Okay? So, before anything else, please like and share the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Click the bell icon for a notification. Okay? So, dating gawe, as usual, please lend me your ears and your attention as it will get technical and educational once we dive into the under chassis part of this video, starting about now. Hello and welcome to the front suspension of the Porsche 944, where we are actually mated with a very traditional McPherson type strut. Very common for all Porsche models throughout the years. There's a rotating assembly. This actually rotates when you turn the steering wheel on its axis right there. And something to note, the clearance is okay. It's not that tight. It's not that spacious as well. It's good enough to put this Arex bag, double bellow bag. And there's something I want to share for this car. There's nothing much to discuss, so I'm just going to share what we did for this car. This is actually a Porsche 964 coilover that we retrofitted for this 944 because we couldn't get any coilovers for this car. So we retrofitted this to its knuckle on the bottom, and we used the stock shock mount of the 944. So basically, we made a custom coilover for this car. So yeah, that's something that I want to share because it took us some time to build this because of those fabrications. Because we can't just get any items for this car anymore. You can get some in Germany and Europe or some parts of United Kingdom, but the price is way up there. So logistics and time and cost was actually the factor. So we did not push through with that, and we just made our own coilovers from a 964 and retrofitted it to a 944. Yeah, that's about it. Anything else you want to discuss? Wala naman. Let's move on to the backside where we actually will discuss something interesting instead. Hello and welcome to the rear suspension of the Porsche 944, where we are actually greeted with a very iconic rear suspension for the 944, specifically for this year model. This is actually a torsion beam rear suspension. Okay, what does that mean, Kyle? This originally did not have springs. The airbag or the air spring was not supposed to be there. The spring of the car is actually inside this tube. Can you light that, please? See that tube right there? That is where the TB is, or the torsion beam. That's the spring of the car. This is a springless rear suspension. Okay? And it has a very weird control arm system, which is, you can see here, there's a lot of eccentric bolts here. Okay? That you can actually, eccentric bolts that you can actually rotate to adjust the toe, camber, and the caster of the car. So you can adjust multiple things on these 3 bolts. And then, of course, as I've told you, it doesn't have a spring before, so we needed to remove the torsion beam inside the car. So the torsion beam is totally deleted. And then once the torsion beam was deleted, we actually installed our air spring here. The coilover here is actually customized as well, the same on the front. The coilovers that we use for this one is a WRX BA rear suspension. This is a WRX rear suspension and rear bags. So we put the Subaru WRX rear bags, shocks. We just modified the shock mount, and the bottom shock mount actually, the bottom bolt, the joint for the bolts on the bottom actually fit. Only the shock mount on top was modified so that we can retrofit it for a 944. So you can see this is a very interesting car. A 964 front with a WRX rear. So that's how we made it work. Of course, you can see there's little to no clearance available. So aligning this was really difficult. Not to mention deleting the torsion beam was actually more difficult than it is. But yeah, we were able to pull it off after a month of work or less. But still, from a 7-day work nominal operation of Fitment, we were able to narrow this to like 2 to 3 weeks. But yeah, it's a difficult car, but it was worthy of a challenge for us. And it was a very interesting build indeed. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. Hello and welcome to the outro of the video. Okay, final thoughts. Quick summary lang, discussion. Okay, the front suspension is a custom coilover from a 964, 993. And we custom made the suspension for it. The rear suspension is actually very interesting. It's actually a torsion beam, okay, ng 944, very classic rear suspension. We customized the coilover for it from a WRX rear suspension. So yeah, very interesting car, no? So, let's actually show them the dynamics of the car. First, by raising up the car. Of course, aired out yung kotse. Shout out to the owner, Tom, for availing the air suspension. To actually show you the full travel. Okay. So, while we discuss the dynamics of the car, I want to reiterate that we really slammed the car to the floor. So the air up of the car is not that high, but we can show you the max travel in a bit. Let's just give it time to pressurize. We'll cut to that right now. Alright, so welcome back. The car is fully pressurized. Ito na yung full travel ng kotse. That's as much as we can give without sacrificing the fitment of the car. It's a solid 4-finger or 3.5 fingers. So that's like 45 millimeters to 50 millimeters lift. Okay? Ground clearance is good naman, it's decent. So rear, well, the rear is actually a smaller arch talaga, so you're just looking at 2.5 fingers. But if you can actually zoom out and see, the clearance of the car naman is decent. Okay, the reason why the car is so low to the ground is because we want that drop when it, gets slammed on the floor. Okay, so let's quickly drop the car and discuss the next thing that we need to discuss for this car. Okay, front and then rear. Alright. Okay? Turn off the car muna. It's having a hard time idling. Okay? Respect the elders. Okay? So, for this segment, let's actually discuss the fitment of this car. Okay? So, it's almost fender to lip. The reason why we don't want to go down any lower is because the tires are actually hitting the wheel well on top. So, probably if we add a bit more camber and, stretch the tires a bit more, we can probably get a flush fitment here. But that's going to be for the owners to discuss. Clearly, it's a really nice setup talaga. Shout out to our team for making the 3-piece wheel. Okay, Wilfred, thank you for machining this beautiful set for Tom, one of our pioneers for the 3-piece wheels. And for the rear, it's a perfect fit naman. So you can see, we're actually tucking a bit. And the camber was dialed in by Hazard Boy. Thanks for the alignment. It's actually very difficult to align this car. It's not your standard control arm. It's from the 80s, technology from the 80s. So things aren't as same as it is or modern. Okay? So overall, it's a tuck fitment. We can actually adjust the coilover. Since it's a coilover, we can dial in the suspension even more. But overall, I love this drop. This car is just amazingly beautiful. It's such an 80s looking car. The boxed, fender with the curviness to it, madami. Okay? Let's actually see the car. Let's actually zoom out and appreciate this car. So once again, thank you to the owner for trusting Fitment. This is his second car. He owns the E34 Alpina wagon that we actually did. So many thanks to you, Tom, for supporting Fitment. And this car is just, actually, there's no point to this catalog video because there's not a lot of people that will have a 944 But regardless, I wanted to be a part of our catalog video because it's such a beautiful car and it's a timeless piece of machine. So, is the 944 a great stance car? Yes. I wouldn't make this video if not. This is not a pointless video. It is a pointless video for the catalog. Who has a 944 in the Philippines? Just a few. And will they bag the car? No. This is just one of one in the Philippines. One bagged 944. For other countries, they appreciate the 944. For the Philippines, there's not much 944s here. But if you're from outside the country and you have a 944, this is the video for you. Okay? But that's all the time we have. Okay? I hope you were able to discuss everything that you need to know on how to bag your Porsche 944. Okay? I'm your host, Kyle from Fitment Engineering, and you're watching Fitment TV. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.